In this video, I'm gonna give you my 5 tips on how to create converting video ads on a budget, so stay tuned. When you're filming video ads, there's a lot that goes into it. You might think that you don't have the right camera or you don't have the right professional lighting. You might not be that good on camera. You might be nervous, you might sweat, you might shake. There's so much that goes into it. Plus you have to do the editing, write the scripts, make sure that the message is compelling, all sorts of stuff. I wanna help you cut through all the noise and get to the point on how you create converting video ads. And you don't need a special camera. You can just use your simple iPhone, Android phone, or even a camcorder. So tip number 1 is bring the proper emotion. Were you ever at school or at work and somebody was giving a presentation and it was just so boring? You just closed your eyes, or you started to fall asleep, or you stopped paying attention. That happened to me so many times in college and in high school and in the workplace. The problem is those people don't bring the proper emotion to what they're presenting. A lot of the information can be dry, but it doesn't have to be. If you're talking about delicious foods in your ads, for example, you don't want to say, oh, you should buy our hamburger, or you should buy our new fresh salad. It's really good. Like, nobody's gonna buy that with that type of emotion. You gotta hit the pleasure points or the pain points depending on the ad really hard. So if you're gonna be advertising something like food, for example, and you want to really emphasize the emotion, you might say, look at this person's face as they're eating this delicious, scrumptious, amazingly filling dessert, or whatever it is. You want to really bring that emotion home, and you want to make the person feel like they're there. You know, say how the person's face lights up and they have a smile and they're making a moaning sound because they're just so overwhelmed with it. And you might think that's over the top for just a simple ad for business or whatever it is, but the reality is the only way to get somebody's attention to pull out their wallet, it isn't just on the features, it's the benefits. When I was buying a camera online, there were so many cameras to choose from, and I had no idea which one to buy. Most of them have the same specs, and some cameras are better than others at certain things, and it's really hard to figure out what you actually need, especially as a beginner. I'm not a cinematographer, I just need something that works. The way I chose the camera I'm using right now is by a plethora of reviews of people talking to me, of giving that emotion. Not just talking about the tactical things about the device, but also talking about how I'm gonna feel after I film something, how it's gonna feel for the people who are watching it. The reality is I want something that's easy to use, and I want something that's gonna look good and convey the message that I want. The people that were giving the reviews, they were able to convey that, you know, this camera is really easy to use, it's gonna deliver you really professional results, and it's on a budget. Okay, that's good for me. Instead of talking about all the frame rates and the features of the camera and the battery life and the pixels and all those things, the people giving the reviews, they really focused on the emotion that I'm gonna get when I'm filming and the result, and showing me the results and really conveying a message. That's what you need to do with your ads. Nobody's gonna buy from you. Nobody's gonna opt in for your offer. Nobody's gonna follow you on your social media page if you don't convey with emotion. You know, if you're trying to do something like an icy hot product or something that takes away pain, really talk about how it hurts your back and you can't do anything, or whatever the product is. If you're an agency, talk about how much time people waste, you know, trying to learn something that they just don't have time for, and they just need to be running their business like a business owner should, so they can have more time to work with their customers and do what actually matters, instead of learning how to advertise or create graphics or video editing or things like that. Bring that emotion and you will start driving home those leads and sales in no time. Tip number 2 is get the right lighting. It's not about having the most professional lighting, it's about getting the right lighting. So most people won't do this, but I'm gonna show you exactly the lights that I use when I'm filming. I'm gonna turn this around, and I actually use these spotlights. And I got them off Amazon, and I'll try to find a link to some and put it below for this type of model. But essentially, what I did is I got those on Amazon. They're like 45 bucks a piece, which isn't that expensive, especially if you're trying to buy all these expensive cameras and stuff. And it was really, really a big difference in my picture. I just turned off one of the lights so you can see the difference if I'm just using one light. And all of a sudden, without those lights and just using a regular lamp, this is what it looks like. It looks a lot different. By having 2 spotlights or 2 lamps that are coming at an angle, which is the recommended way to do it, and having your camera in front of those lights, you're allowing yourself to have the best focus and the best picture with the lighting. The light's focused on you, and you're creating these 2 planes of light that when they intersect creates this really good lighting situation. I don't know all the science of it right now, but I do know that this looks pretty good. And lighting can make a big difference when it comes to conveying messaging and emotion. If somebody can't see your face clearly, they can't tell if you're happy or sad, or if you're feeling curious or whatever the emotion is. They also don't know if they can trust you. If I had no lights on, I was sitting in a corner, you might think I'm creepy or weird, or I'm not conveying the right message. If you want to crush it with your advertisements, make sure that you have the right lighting. And I'm making this video right now in a small space in my apartment. You can do the same thing in a conference room, even on a patio or a deck. You don't have to have a fancy studio. You don't have to have a fancy camera. And you don't have to have fancy lighting. You don't need all the lights I have. You just need a light that's behind the camera and that shines through. If you have two, that's even better. You have two lamps that go at an angle. It's gonna look way better than if you just do natural lighting or you just do whatever the lighting is at that current spot. This will make a world of a difference when you're trying to look professional and trying to convey your message, and you don't need to break the bank for it. Tip number 3, stay focused. Now, there's a lot of things you got to focus on with a video, whether it's an ad or organic content, doesn't matter. For starters, you want to make sure that you're focused on your message. Don't just start jibber jabbering around on all these different topics. Don't have 3 to 5 calls to action. Go on our YouTube page and subscribe, and go on our Instagram and our Facebook, and then click and go to our website. People are going to get overwhelmed. They don't care this day and age. They don't have time for all that, and they're not willing to do it. They took the time out of their day to watch your advertisement. They don't know you. They don't really care about you. Most people don't really have an interest in talking with you, but they took the time to watch even a sliver of what you have to say. So if you got their attention, make sure that you make the most of it. Stay focused with the messaging. If you start talking about an offer that you have for a free training or a free webinar or a free giveaway, a discount, a deal or something like that, stick with it. Say what the benefits are to that. An offer that I give away is a free affiliate marketing training that helps people get rid of all the headaches there are with Googling around and figuring out who's right or wrong, and then trying to pay for all these trainings that don't actually work. I sum it up in one page and I make it really simple to get started. In my ad, I stick to that message. I don't jump around and talk about my life and my hobbies and all that kind of stuff. Often you'll see that with people who write blog posts about their diaries instead of writing about what people are actually looking for, which is searchable content. And it's the same with video ads. Stay focused with your messaging and you will keep their attention, and you will follow through your funnel, and people will opt in and convert. The other thing is focus on the imagery. Now, I don't have a glamorous scene here, but as you can see, there's not much in the background that's distracting you. There's a chair and a switch or something on the wall, and that's about it. But if you're moving around and your camera's wobbling all over the place, and you're walking on a beach and there's wind, and you're never gonna get anybody's attention. And even if you do, you're not gonna keep it. And you're not gonna keep it for the right reasons. Sure, some of those ads where you're moving around do work, but you gotta make sure that you have the right lighting, and you gotta make sure that you're mic'd up and people can hear what you have to say. Don't go out with poor camera quality and without the ability for people to hear what you're actually saying. Stay focused with your background. Don't overwhelm people. Don't make them want to leave right away. Keep them focused on what you're saying and they will listen. Focus on your message and you will be just fine with converting people. Number 4, split test. Everybody has this dream of opening up their phone, filming 30 seconds, putting it on Facebook or YouTube and watching the money roll in, or watching the subscribers roll in. That's just not how it works. I used to think that. I used to think that you could put up an ad, and as long as it complies and it says whatever you want it to say, people are just gonna come and they're gonna buy. They're gonna opt in, they're gonna do whatever you want them to do because you said so. That's like going up to somebody you wanna go on a date with and just saying what you want them to do, and you haven't even asked them what their name is, or if they're comfortable, or if they like you, or something like that. That person has no obligation to you. The same goes for these cold traffic visitors to your videos and your pages. You got to test different creatives, and it doesn't need to take a lot of time. You don't need to go to the mountains, go to the ocean, and go to a beach to film all these different videos with all these amazing scenes. You're not a cinematographer. You don't have $100,000 budget or $1 million budget. You don't have to do this crazy, indie film or something like that. I film most of my videos in my apartment against the same boring wall, and it always converts. And it's not because my wall is beautiful or my chair is beautiful. It's because I'm able to test different messages and different zooming and different expressions in my copywriting and my delivery. If you want to move to a different room or try a different attention getter or something like that, feel free. Maybe you want to go to a coffee shop, or you want to Go to a restaurant or a movie theater or something like that, something different to get people's attention. Sure, you can try it. But don't think you have to break the bank or get an expensive car or a mansion just to show that, you're credible. You'll see a lot of people do this where they rent expensive cars or homes, and it might add to the luxury of the scene, but it doesn't make up for their lack of credibility. Some of them are credible, but some of them aren't. So don't think that just by buying stuff, you become more credible. To keep somebody's attention, you have to give them exactly what they want, which is the valuable information or the help they need. Split test different angles on your creative. So you want to talk about the pain points, then maybe make another one about a pleasure center. Make sure you're split testing the angles of your messaging. So if you're trying to sell a product like Icy Hot, for example, or some other pain relieving product, with Icy Hot, the number one thing you should point to is the fact that it can alleviate the pain that you have. Really hit home with that pain point after you've lifted weights or played a sport or just slept wrong and your back hurts and your legs hurt and your whole body hurts and you can't do the things that you want to do. Then you can talk about the product, its benefits, and how it helps do that. But you can make another creative or another video that is still promoting the same product, but it's talking about how easy it is to use. You might say that things like Copper Fit or other products that you have to put a big band around you and wash it and all this other stuff is a lot harder than just opening up a cap and wiping it on your skin. By showing the benefits of use, you're giving a different logical reason for somebody to use the product. You're touching a different angle. So some ads might touch the logical side of an argument and others will touch a emotional side of an argument. The reality is that a lot of people buy on emotion, but some buy on logic. Most people will buy though if you hit both centers. So if you hit the emotional side and the logical side, then you are much more likely to get somebody's full impression of your brand and your product. So if somebody doesn't buy on the first video ad, maybe retarget them with one that hits on the other angle. So start with an emotional ad about the back pain and then retarget about how easy it is to use. And then retarget on the benefits of the deal that you're having. This way you can get all those different angles. And you can test them all at the same time, even without retargeting. You can just have different ads at the same level of your funnel. This way you're getting results and you're able to optimize, you're able to figure out what's the best way to talk to your customers. If you trust your intuition instead of the data, then you're just guessing. You will get better over time. Your intuition will get better as you get more experience. But when you're starting out, and even if you're an expert, you should be split testing because you never know if what you're saying or thinking is correct until you see the data that backs it. That's the cool thing about digital advertising is that data is real time, it's fast, and it's succinct, and you can tie it to results. So in short, split test, split test, split test, and try all the different angles and figure out what messaging works. At the end of the day, the only way you're gonna find out is by trying different things. And tip number 5 is practice your script. Even while recording this video for you, I've messed up several times. But if I didn't practice even a little bit beforehand or think it through, I would have messed up so many more times that it would have taken forever to film it. The reality is, before I filmed this video, I wrote a list of things I wanted to say, I edited it, and then I practiced saying it or thinking about how I would say it in my mind. You should do the same thing with your video ad scripts. Write a bunch of scripts. It doesn't take that long to write out different angles. It might take 20 minutes, and then read them out loud, which will take less than 5 minutes. See which ones sound good and which ones don't. Which ones sound awkward, even though you typed it out and it sounded fine. That happens all the time when I write something or anybody writes something. Read your script again and again and again until you pretty much have it memorized in your head and you could say it to anyone on a moment's notice. They always say that with something like an elevator pitch, which is where you give your 1-minute spiel on what your business is or why you're so great or whatever you're doing that's so special, that you can convey how amazing it is in 1 minute. You should do the same thing with your video ad scripts, no matter if it's 10 seconds long or 30 minutes to 60 minutes long. The people who can convey the best messages and convert the most customers, leads, and followers are the people that are likable, that are honest, and that can speak to somebody's mind and their needs. The way you do that is you got to keep people's attention. Read out one line at a time. Don't read out these huge paragraphs so that you have to look at it while you're reading it. That's boring and it's going to come out boring. Read with conviction and passion. Don't just read it and say, I'm going to be promoting Icy Hot. That's really boring. That's lame. I wouldn't buy from you if you said that. And I also wouldn't trust you either because I wouldn't think that you actually know your product and your message because you can't even say it without looking at a piece of paper. Own the message. Be confident, even if you don't feel it on the inside. Act act confident and you will become confident. So instead of reading something like where you're like, oh, icy hot, this is really boring, say something like this. Are you tired of the back pain that keeps you up at night and you can't spend time with your loved ones? Do you want an easy to use product that can solve that pain relief in just under seconds? Then you should try Icy Hot, and then go into your spiel and talk about the benefits and why you should use it. That might not be the perfect pitch, but it's energetic, and I can test that, and I can get people's attention with that. Watch some of the old infomercials and see how people present things. They don't do it just to be cheesy. It might look cheesy now because the video quality might not be as good, or the angles are weird just because it's different than what you see today. That doesn't mean it was bad. People sell millions of dollars on those shows, or hundreds and thousands of dollars. So it's really important to watch what the pros did back then, because it still works. Watch a show like HSN or a shopping network. Even if you're a man and you don't want to buy those types of products because they're female driven, they know how to sell on TV and they know how to sell fast, and they do it with energy. Watch how other people do their ads. If they're boring, do you skip their ads on YouTube, or do you scroll past on Facebook, or do you buy from them? If you're scrolling past somebody, maybe they're not getting your attention. If you're buying from them, they're probably doing it right. Look at those ads and figure out why you clicked. What brought you there? Was it their smile? Was it their energy? Was it their message? Was it their argument logical or emotional? Figure that out, dissect it, and practice it until you can own it. With these 5 tips, I know you can crush it with your video ads. You don't need a big budget. You don't need an expensive camera or crazy lighting or scenes to film it. You just need to convey a message that actually matters to the audience that you're trying to present it to. And you need to test it and make sure that it actually works the way you envisioned it. Sometimes your first 10, 20, 100 guesses are going to be wrong. It took Edison hundreds and thousands of tries to get his inventions to work. Every video ad is a new creation. That's why they call it a creative. Not only are you being creative, but you're creating something that's tangible, and you have to see if it works. If it doesn't work on your first try, or your first 100 or 1,000 tries, keep trying. Everybody starts somewhere. Some people don't know what a good advertisement looks like. Others are experts at it, and they're in the advertising space and they've done it as a job. Follow those people and try to crush it with them. Look at really, really engaging ads that you liked and that you shared with your friends, and try to emulate it. When you model work that is already succeeding, it's the greatest way to get success quickly. I'm not talking about copying or stealing work. I'm just talking about looking at a video scene, if they're energetic, if they did something funny, or if the script was interesting, or they talked about the benefits first, picking apart the strategy. And it really doesn't take that long. If you watch a couple ads on your phone and you click around and you look at those, you'll see the tangible things that you need to succeed. I hope these 5 tips were really helpful for you on how to create video ads that convert. Let me know in the comments below which tip is your favorite. Also, let me know which ones you have tried and if they work for you. If you like this video, hit that like button so more people can see it. Jump on that subscribe button and slap that notification bell so you don't miss a single video from me on how to make more money online and live a happier life. There's a video right after this one, so stay tuned for that. Peace out for now.